With the last episode, we have officially gotten all 4 of the Perils in Yashahime, so I wanted to take a moment to not only talk about them, but also give their mythological inspirations. If you enjoy this kind of content, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. And if you want to support the channel a little bit extra, you can check out my Patreon through the link in the description. With all that being said, let's talk about the 4 Perils. Timestamp on screen for when to skip this, but editing Axel here though. And before we get into the video, just some quick shameless self-promotion. There's a series I love to make on this channel that many of you might have missed, and you might have seen me talking about this manga called Mao. I'll be discussing it every Monday from now on, and if you haven't heard of it or you're just unfamiliar with it, this is an ongoing series by Rumiko Takahashi, the mangaka behind Inuyasha and Ranma 1/2, so it might be a really cool series for anyone who's looking for a more modern series from her, or if you just haven't been feeling Yashahime. I have a playlist that I'll link at the end of this video, but so far it has a much more classic Inuyasha feel, but with more of a mystery feeling behind it, and not the Yashahime form of mystery. We follow Nanaka as she crosses the boundary to another world and meets an exorcist named Mao, who's hunting down the demonic Byoki who cursed him. Obviously it has a very Inuyasha kind of vibe to it, the villain is very similar to Naraku so far. It has great art, solid action, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I'd love for you to check it out if you have time. Like I said though, if it sounds interesting, check it out at the end of this video. Anyways, back to what you clicked on. In Yashahime, there are 4 powerful demons from the mainland who follow Kirinmaru. These 4 demons were Tokotsu, Kyuki, Konton, and Totetsu. Up until recently, I have been under the understanding that these were based on the 4 celestial beings of China, each representing a cardinal direction. But upon doing further research recently, I don't think that's quite true anymore, instead being based on China's 4 malevolent beings, sometimes called the 4 evils or 4 perils. I don't know how I missed that one, but more on that as we go. The first peril that we faced in battle was Tokotsu. While we didn't get much of his living form in the anime, we did get his reanimated form after his son Jakotsumaru revived him. Tokotsu was a boar yokai who was given a red rainbow pearl by Kirinmaru, however he was one day killed and his red pearl fell into Moroha's hand. If you are wondering what the living Tokotsu would have looked like, well, they posted a picture over on the Yashahime website, and this is it. Tokotsu's abilities weren't given much light in the series, however his son had some bone-based abilities. He was able to raise an army of red skeletons to fight for him, so it's possible that Tokotsu's own abilities would be similar in some way, much like how Sesshomaru's abilities are very similar to his own father's. However, we really didn't get a look at it because he was banished so quickly by the twins. When we look at the 4 malevolent beings, or the 4 evils as they're sometimes called, we can compare Tokotsu to Taowu. Also, I will probably butcher all of these pronunciations because my Chinese is even worse than my Japanese. This was a beast with a human-like head, a tiger's legs, and boar tusks. Moving on to Kyuki, the second peril that we fought. She has blue hair and stripes along her body, horns on her head, and angel-like wings. She wears a sleeveless red kimono and a purple obi sash, with a white sash that hangs down from her waist with black stripes on it. This is probably in reference to her true form, in which we see her as a giant white tiger, adorned with horns all over her body and massive wings. She was given the purple pearl by Kirinmaru, which she was able to use to absorb demonic energy, as well as using a crystal ball to communicate with her subordinates or spy on her enemies. Finally, she also had access to her light whip, similar to the one that Sesshomaru had. Kyuki was a very loyal servant on the surface, however she had plans to gather all of the pearls herself in order to overthrow Kirinmaru. She never got that chance though, as she was defeated by the girls and then destroyed by Riku. In terms of her own subordinates, she had Yotsume the owl, Fubuki the polar bear, and after Tokotsu's death, it looked like Jakotsumaru also took orders from her indirectly through Yotsume. If we're looking at mythological creatures to base Kyuki on, it looks as though she comes from another of the 4 evils, the Cheongqi. The Chinese Bestiary by Richard E. Strasberg, in which I'm getting most of this information, describes it as such: a beast resembling a tiger with wings who can fly, and who also catches and devours men. He understands human language, and when he hears men quarreling, he immediately devours the one who is right. If he hears someone who is rebellious and evil, he immediately kills an animal and presents it to him. A sense of evil and lack of loyalty which certainly fits Kyuki. On to our third peril, Konton. Konton is a tall demon with horns, pointed ears, and a long mustache. He's cold-hearted and very focused on reputation, worried about how things might look to others, and disgusted when he thinks something is distasteful. His true form appears as a big stubby monster with 6 legs and wings, but we haven't seen him transform in the anime yet. We also saw him with a subordinate in Niko-sen, a sage who embraced evil and became a demon. Konton uses sorcery, including things like extending his sword with a spell called Divine Speed, creating an explosive field with talismans, creation magic to produce beings to serve him like his wind and thunder dogs, and he can teleport to his talismans at will. He also had a nearly impenetrable armor made from a black tortoise demon, which reflects his mythological inspiration, the Hundun, another of the four evils, and as such they oppose the celestial beings, of which there was in fact a black tortoise. Hundun was a figure of primordial chaos, described as having 4 wings, 6 legs, and lacking a face or eyes. It famously progresses aimlessly with a lack of moral consciousness. Finally, we have Totetsu. Totetsu is a pretty monstrous-looking demon who has an obsession for devouring monks and priests. His personality, despite this, is pretty fun and playful, but he also has a bit of a temper. Totetsu has the orange pearl, which he uses to search for virtuous priests and devour them. His abilities include being able to devour and suck in anything in front of him, similar to the wind tunnel. Large objects will cause him to pause for a moment, and he will also have to taste anything that he eats, so spicy or poisonous foods are a big no-no for him. That said, he can also fire off anything that he's eaten as a form of energy, which we saw with the poisonous pellets. Not sure how that would work with people, but that doesn't sound like a great image. He also has magic similar to Konton, as he can produce a rideable smoke cloud. Thematically, he's based on the Daotai of Chinese myth. This creature is often seen in bronze artifacts and depicted as a head with no lower jaw. They were gluttonous monsters who would eat humans but not swallow them, simply injuring them in their mouths. And all of that is just about everything we know about the 4 Perils at this moment. Let me know who your favorite Peril is in the comments down below. For me, it is either Kyuki or Totetsu. I really love Kyuki's design, and Totetsu is just very fun to me. But I would love to hear your own thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more going forward. And again, if you have any interest in checking out my Mal reviews, please check out the playlist in the description and at the end of the video. I hope you all enjoy. And of course, a big thank you to our patrons, with the Dai Yokai Miasma and Ikerochu, our Yokai Lucifina Akuma, and our Hanyo Jasmine Morales, Michael Grayco, Nega Kitty, Simon Electric, Anthony Hogan, Burnett Thrasher, and Randy Moseyman. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, remember to stay excellent.